At 2 a.m. on Thursday, the 21st of August 1913, Lily Smith boarded a motorboat at Dover. Sailing out to sea a little over 90 minutes later, she removed her robe and formed a diving motion, plunging into the depths of the freezing cold English Channel. Meanwhile, back in North London, the ladies of the Tottenham Swimming Club anxiously awaited news of her, as did the rest of the world. For Lily Smith was no ordinary lady, and this is her story. The building we now know as the Bernie Grant Arts Centre had been newly opened in 1906 as the Tottenham Public Swimming Baths, and a few weeks after its grand opening, Lily Smith of Shoreditch was asked to captain the newly founded Tottenham Ladies Swimming Club, alongside her trainer and instructor Walter Brickett. She and her sisters were competitive swimmers, and Lily jumped at the opportunity to teach the ladies of Tottenham how to become champion athletes whilst raising the profile of the club as her fame began to grow. Although already well known, Lily would become a highly respected athlete when in 1907 she became the first woman to swim from Richmond to Blackfriars, completing the swim in 4 hours, 16 minutes and 39 seconds, finishing in 14th place with up to 20 of her male rivals behind her. By 1911, Lily was becoming the most famous female swimmer in England and was showing a great aptitude for daring feats, including an attempt to swim the Solent from Southsea to the Isle of Wight and back, covering a total distance of 24 miles. That particular stretch of water was notoriously difficult and had only ever been completed by one swimmer previously. But on the 21st of August 1911 at 6 a.m, Lily dived into the water, leaving Southsea and making her way to Ryde, where she would arrive at 10:45 a.m. The first leg of the swim had been a success, and Lily turned to make the return journey. But within 5 miles of Southsea, she collided with a submerged barrel, which badly injured her knee. Bleeding profusely, Lily bandaged the wound while still in the water and set off once again. But the injury was too severe, and on the advice of her trainer, Walter Brickett, she reluctantly had to stop. But despite this, Lily's performance was remarkable, having managed to swim 19 miles in around 7 hours. But it would be 2 years later, in 1913, that Lily would attempt an even bigger challenge. Driven by her belief that women should be seen as equal to men and her desire for women to have the right to vote, she proudly boasted that she would swim to France to win votes for women. And she was quoted in the Washington Post as saying, "I am going to swim the channel in order to demonstrate that woman is the physical equal of man, and I'm going to put a stop forever to all this twaddle about the weaker sex." And at age just 21 and weighing in at 13 stone and 2 pounds, she was determined to complete the daring challenge to swim the 28-mile stretch across the Channel from England to France. Accompanied by her trainer, Walter Brickett, and her family, the group disembarked from Dover at 2 a.m. And once they had reached St Margaret's Bay at 3:36 a.m, Lily entered the water. Starting off with strength and confidence, everything was going well. As she passed a nearby lightship, she was met with cheers of encouragement from its crew, as her sister, father, trainer and fiancé sailed alongside her. But despite the solid start, she began to show signs of difficulty and distress. The water was cold and she was experiencing numbness. To encourage and monitor her more closely, her fiancé dived into the water and swam part of the way with her. But the wind began to pick up. The currents were strong and furious, and the water growing colder and colder. And sadly, Lily collapsed. Her fiancé quickly tried to grab her, and with a huge amount of effort and a lot of difficulty, he managed to pull her back onto the boat, where they quickly made their way back to the shore. Thankfully, during the return journey, Lily came round and seemed to be okay. But after nearly 3 hours in water, covering a distance of only 7 miles, she had to admit defeat. Thereafter, Lily would return to her swimming club in Tottenham and would continue to compete in swimming challenges and galas, but by now she had risen to such great fame that she would go on to perform theatrical demonstrations of swimming techniques and would even appear in several short films.